So let's all tune in. If you're watching this on YouTube later, what we're going to do is I'm going to talk for a little bit for two reasons. One, to teach so people can learn. But the other thing is to create a resonant bond with the participants. Because when you're thinking about similar ideas, you start resonating. And you know that from when you go visit friends that you resonate with, because you kind of think similarly. So I'm trying to like manufacture a little group resonance here by thinking similar thoughts, not by believing similar things, but by thinking similar thoughts. All right. I really welcome people of all levels of experience with distance healing to this this event. Newcomers, oldcomers, people that are better at it than me, thank you for being here. People that are just barely putting their foot in the water of what in the world is this, you're also very, very welcome. I feel like when we gather in a group doing one thing that's similar, all our differences sort of fill it out and make it a more living, breathing, energetic event. Yeah. All right. Good morning, Nels, Dorothy, Cheryl, Radha. I probably missed somebody. It's scrolling. Hi, Deb. Good morning. All right. So the teaching today is just, I talked a little bit about resonance, about all coming up as ourselves and thinking a similar thought. So what I thought I would do is something very simple. Watch me complicate it. But anyway, I've got this pen here. And often what we do, okay, so if you know much about me, I do spinning meditations that came out of my work as a sound healer with vibratory frequency. And then after that, my work with Bill Bengston, who has his rapid image cycling technique. And then through just my understanding of physics and the deepening of everything I know about chi and natural healing, and healing with chi, healing without chi, healing with intention, healing without intention. I'm sort of a philosopher. I guess I am a philosopher, not sort of one. But okay, so this is the one thought that I'd like us to work on today, is the idea that we're going to have a metaphor of how we do our spinning meditation. This is not the right way to do a spinning meditation. It's just a way to do a spinning meditation. So there's two rules. One is to keep it different most times. And two is to, with a group healing, to establish resonance. Like if you were my one-on-one private patient, I would be teaching you how to find the right shape that is good for you today. And in this one, I'm asking you to find the shape that's the same as other people's, which will still have your flavor to it, of course. But I'm trying to create a resonant frequency in thought, not just in like a violin or a piano or something like that. Okay, so things that spin, you know, there's blenders, there's bicycles, there's fans, there's all these things there's car tires. Those are kind of some gross examples of things that spin. There are more subtle things that spin, like, or at least that vibrate back and forth with a cyclical frequency. If something is like the term hertz, maybe you've seen the HZ, you know, like 60 hertz comes out of the walls of the United States electrical outlets. That means 60 cycles per second. So really any metaphor that has anything cyclical going on, you can do a spinning meditation with, which means you can do a spinning meditation with anything, because everything vibrates at some level, and you can tune into that frequency and spin. So today I'd like to use an electricity metaphor. And I'd like to think of it as, okay, so when you have an electric current, what happens is a magnetic field gets going around it. It's I think this is the right-hand rule. I think I'm doing it right, but even if I'm doing it wrong, if this current is going this way, the magnetic field is going that way. Right, so right now I'm going to, once we get into the actual guided visualization, I'm going to have us do this, but just in case anybody has questions about it or has ways to improve it, you can type into the chat. What I want, like often what I have us do is pretend like we have a cylinder of spinning light around us. And I'd like to add to that the idea that you have a vertical axis, AXIS, also AXSESS. But anyway, we have a vertical axis from heaven to earth. So you kind of imagine that you have this conduit that's going from heaven to earth and from earth to heaven. And you can feel that as a current, maybe coming down, and then making a swirling motion around you, and then create a container so it doesn't just swirl out to infinity, which is, and have that be what this container, like almost catching this magnetic field and giving it a form. Okay, so the thing I want everybody to think about in a few minutes when we get into the guided visualization is to think of this vertical axis, and then notice, I call it access because I access spiritual information by doing this, but so it's a little double meaning there. But I'd like you just to notice what happens to your imaginary magnetic field that's going on with your imaginary vertical imagination, and really play with it. Let's do that right now a little bit. Everybody line up vertically, and then imagine that that's somehow inducing a spinning motion like in a tube around you. Good. And what do people feel? Type in, okay. Good. And you can vary the strength and the frequency of the magnetic circling by varying the current of the vertical axis. And what I'm experiencing as I do this is I really feel that my body responds to different images differently. And yours does too, but it's sort of like a neutral image. We aren't attached to what should be happening with imagining a straight line coming through us with current in it. And I wouldn't call it an electric current. I would call it like the grace of the divine or some sort of spiritual current. Love, something like that. It's just a current. It's not necessarily So Greg says it feels spinal, very vertical. Feels like an electric charge. Radha says the divine light of I am present. Anybody else? Mine is right in front of my spine, like where my aorta is. It's right in front. And that's a Chinese medicine thing. As some of you know, I'm an acupuncturist. The 𝗙𝗲𝗋𝗆, it's like most the meridians are bilateral, but this one is just the center line. There you go, good. You can feel it going from the tip of your head to your perineum, down into the center of the earth, up into the cosmos, maybe up to your star, maybe up to a star that can help you. All right, good. All right, good. All right, so now vary the current. So make more come in, like allow more current to come in. Just in your imagination, you just open to more current. And let that influence the spinning around you. Okay, and now you're going to find a current with its analogous spinning that harmonizes with everybody else who's watching this now and in the future. And notice how the speed changed just a little bit. And there's a part of you knows how to resonate with each other. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Yes, Nancy says the light emanating the highest good of all concerned. That's nice. Okay. Now you can have a feeling about this light. That's fine. But, because often like the light emanating the highest good of all concerns, to me, those words just bring up a feeling of devotion. So it's fine to have that, but the main thing is that what I'm trying to do is not that we're feeling all the same thing, which is another way to resonate, but that we're thinking the same shape. Okay, because thinking is actually a more spiritual activity than feeling is. And I define spiritual as the realm above feelings and images. So emotions are kind of close to the physical, images are a little bit higher, and then thinking is a little more abstract, and then there's the beyond the thinking. All right. And just, you might notice that you don't want to manufacture a feeling when we're doing this. You want to notice your feeling. So it's not that you're trying not to feel anything, but that you're, like when I have a vertical axis going, sometimes I feel rage. It's almost like some deep, yucky stuff is coming out of me or out of my patient. And sometimes I feel devotion and reverence and awe and everything in between. But the idea is that the thinking is doing the work, and the feeling is in response. And then I watch the feeling show and the physical show. All right, good. So now let's stop. Notice how your body feels when you're vertically aligned like this. Good. And now let's stop it. And notice how and just look around and just notice how something kind of settles or clunks down. I still feel enhanced by having consciously done that a bit. But now let's let the current come in again, or be aware of the current that's always coming in, and let that field of spinning come in. Is anybody able to feel the magnetic swirling around the current? Or just imagine that there is a cyclical thing going on that's somehow paired to this heaven to earth current. Maybe. Okay, well, we'll have a chance to practice again. So I wanted to teach this before we actually do the distance healing. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to stop the YouTube version of it, and I'm going to guide the participants into a guided visualization. You don't have to actually follow the guided visualization if enough of us can do it. Some of us are just listen as like it's a story and participate. Just your participation increases the group resonance, even if you're here not able to imagine it very clearly, or even if you're able to imagine it but you're not able to feel the shifts in your body. I try to do this advanced enough so that people who are very familiar with energy manipulations can have a nice ride, and also keep it so that if you're brand new to distance healing and you're just in need of healing, you don't have to be good at this. You just have to do it. You just have to come and participate. All right, and then you notice what happens either during the session or afterwards, especially in the next 2 hours and the next 24 hours. If you're sleeping better, if you're eliminating better, if you're getting great ideas, if good luck is happening to you, we don't know that the distance healing was the catalyst for that, but that's often how it manifests. If your tumor cools down, if you have cancer, if maybe your dog has cancer and you've got your dog's name on here, maybe they suddenly start operating a little better. Okay. All right. Thank you for doing this. And with me, it's a little different, but off we go. All right.